Another edition of XFeed. Today, we got an absolute barn burner for you. I don't know how to word things other than I think the timeline shows violence today. I think that we are about to see a wild summer unveil in everything Web3. If this is your first time tuning in, what's up? My name's The Schiller. We talk about NFTs to Web3, all from kind of like just, a generic kind of fun way. Add a little bit of a pep to your step on caring about the markets because if your bags aren't doing anything, you probably don't care. But there is a lot of things going on in the space, and we can go over what you might care about, what might not. And just, man, the drama, the happenings. Oh, my goodness, Shay. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. So, first thing I want to go over is we've had all these Web3 games saying we have these huge prize pools. And just for comparison, with this World Series of Warzone from Call of Duty, huge title here, we can see that they are giving away $1 million prize pool for it. Obviously, this is covering a huge amount of regions, but the only reason I'm wanting to bring this up is just so you have a little bit of a comparison to what is going on with the traditional world and seeing almost every game within Web3 really starting to cook. Now, the drama. Guys, today is going to be a juicer. So if you haven't seen, the president of blockchain at Gala, Bitbender, resigns. Bitbender was the face. Everybody recognized him. And he felt like the last big standing member of Gala. So many things from hosts and elsewhere that aren't there anymore. I guess we'll read this just so you guys are in the loops. Hey, Galaxians and everyone, I am dropping this note here to share an update with everyone about some of the exciting changes happening at Gala and soon outside of Gala. Over the last few years at Gala, we have built some pretty amazing teams. We've also seen the world change around us, and now it makes sense for us to evolve. Get ready to embrace new opportunities and take the next step in our path to decentralization. To that end, I am going to be shifting in my role at Gala from being president of blockchain to being an unpaid advisor. That feels kind of weird, no? There are a number of people who will be also resigning from their positions at Gala to form an external organization, LFG, Let's Fight Giants. This group will focus on bringing new projects into the Gala chain and node ecosystem by providing services to a wide variety of new, interesting partners. LFG, as an external org, will help partners plan out workloads for nodes, design tokenomic structures, help users understand the power of the decentralized Gala chain and Gala node technologies, advise on node sales, integrate with exchanges, build communities, and a lot more. Okay, so there's more to that, but we'll just stop there. Huh? Like what? What are we doing here? I'm trying to fully understand, right? And I have a node, been following the ecosystem. Do I play many of the games? Not really. Do I take an interest in what they're building? I try where I can here and there, but obviously we just kind of see these headlines and been like, oh my goodness, feels like things are kind of weird. But at the same time, okay, they're trying to bring people on for the node network, building out these advising teams. What happened in the positions before that they couldn't? Why is everybody resigning and creating this other org? Is there some kind of legal implementations for this? Because I know that there was a huge legal battle between some of the Gala founders previously. I mean, I don't know, but it's just nuts to see kind of these big players getting removed from certain projects where we see like Garga, for example, with Bored Ape Yacht Club jumping back in to take a leadership role. And it's just interesting seeing all of this. But further to that, Jason Brink here saying, why I'm so excited about the Gala ecosystem. Excellent games like Last Expedition, The Walking Dead Empires, infrastructure like Gala Chain, and the fact that 85% of all traffic on IPFS is routing through the Founders Node network. This isn't even mentioning Gala Go Music or Go Gala Films. The Gala ecosystem is just getting started. Yes, it has done a terrible job of marketing itself and has pissed off a handful of creators who just like to make bad videos, but the reality is that this is a juggernaut and will continue to march. I don't think he's talking about me because I don't really talk about Gala a whole lot, but I know there was a huge blow up between him, or I guess Gala, and a content creator that was talking more about like the monetary value of things. And hey, you should get into this because moon, instead of hey, enjoyment. And they didn't really like that. So there's a huge blow up from that. But either way, interesting things across the timeline. Now, a moment ago, we spoke about Garga. Here's an update regarding Other Side. The Other Side economy will happen via Ape token. So if you want to buy or sell things in game or monetize ODK, that's ApeCoin you're spending on Ape Chain. The idea was always to have central several islands where people can congregate and socialize and trade, and that's how we've been developing the Agora. Now, the question that I would have with this is, every game going to try to do this model where, we can take Futureverse as an example and say, okay, if anybody wants to build on Root, they're going to have to purchase Root to be able to build on that. Is that acquiring them? Are they doing anything extra to help with this? It seems just kind of like interesting to think of like the tokenomics of why somebody from like the traditional world per se would jump into the realm of blockchain if you're having to go and buy all these tokens to be able to build on it. Again, there's a lot of individuals wanting to do things. And I mean, hey, if I'm like, hey, I want to build some kind of certain experience and have people from the stream go into this thing and have to pay an ape. Like, okay, I kind of get that, but I don't really know a whole lot of the behind the scenes for it. So interesting to see how this flushes out over time. Now, we call this X feed, and again, we are live on X, Twitch, YouTube with this, but Elon here highlighting somebody's stream, and it got them 4.3 million views. Do very much think that the X application as a whole is going to get much, much larger, as they've highlighted before. Again, trying to bring some awareness more to the live streams on there. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. EST, Aaron and Shara are swinging by the stream. I'll show you guys a sneak peek, okay? So this is the window that we got. Hopefully I've sized everything right. If not, I'm gonna freak out live. I spent like an hour trying to figure out how to do that yesterday, so hopefully it goes well when we jump on the call with them. But again, tomorrow at 7 p.m. EST, we get to learn a little bit more about the Futureverse. Breaking: Phantom, the wallet, the crypto wallet, is now the top of the iOS store in Nigeria. Now, at the same time that we have that, apparently the Solana, let me turn that down, hopefully it's not copyrighted, the largest African crypto festival is in full swing in Nigeria, with Solana taking the center stage. So very interesting to see, huh? Different little bit of a setup here, different booths, exactly as we would see them across like NFT, NYC, et cetera, People go by, talk to these booths, see what's going on. They got the festivities. Everywhere's got a concert, when people probably don't even go to these things for concerts 99% of the time. But still cool to see that the growth is happening. So there's some, interesting happenings on the timeline as per usual. And we highlighted it on Friday, but the Crawley Town FC, which was the team behind, or that was supposed to be the WAGMI United. If you guys remember that way back in the day, it was a football team, and it was bought by people that were kind of from the crypto space, and they wanted to try to create a tokenized aspect for this football team. So people were able to vote on, hey, do we transfer a player to get, a midfielder or a striker or that kind of thing. And it never really ended up going anywhere, but they got promoted to League One here. And the people that I'm assuming invested in this are, bringing this back up, and G Money being one of them, saying, can someone contact Vice and ask them to do a follow-up article? And it says, Crypto Bros bought an English football team. It isn't going well. And obviously now it's going pretty well because they ended up winning it. But I mean, the account itself hasn't tweeted. And this person's saying that they don't even tweet anymore. And, there was like a scarf, a jersey or something. A lot of people haven't talked about it. It feels very weird because this is like, I think, an awesome happening. And like, I like football, soccer. It's great. Formerly huge Chelsea fan. Not that I'm not anymore, but I don't really watch as much TFC games, been to them. And I was like, damn, I'm really, really excited about this. But it felt like the implementation that they had for it was really kind of bad, to be honest. And it never went anywhere. And that sucks because it just feels like, damn, if only that ended up working, we could kind of rejoice as a crypto community. But now they don't even bring up Web3 or NFTs because it's over. That's okay. Protocols by treasury size. Holy smokes. Okay, so Mantle has 3.8 billion. Arbitrum has 3.5 billion. Uniswap has 3.2 billion. Optimism 2 billion, and ENS Ethereum Name Services 1.2 billion. These protocols, holy smokes, are they making an absolute bag. Those protocols can afford the best security on the planet: dev training, tooling, audits, contests, fuzzing, formal verification, bug bounty, anything. Generally agree. Does that make you say, hey, I want to go buy them? Maybe, but just very interesting to note how much capital some of these bad boys have overall. Guy who tried to time the bottom of Bored Ape Yacht Club 4 months ago by sweeping more than 1% of the supply when they broke below 25 ETH is now down 1,400 Ethereum or $4.3 million US. Guys, are NFTs ever going to have a sign of life again? Potentially, but holy smokes. See, it's weird when you're on the timeline, right? If we can go just on a little bit of a rant here for a second. When you go on the timeline and everybody's screaming about something and saying, oh, it's an opportunity, it's this and that. And then we've seen, if you've been in the space long enough, you've seen certain things age horrifically, other things age phenomenally. But the one thing that is always true is that nobody is ever 100% accurate. And so you could see something and be like, oh, that person's usually right. And it still could end up going bad. I've not seen anybody that's been 100% right across the board. If you know somebody, let me know. But it is interesting on the timeline every single day, people to pushing different narratives. And I think that the educational awareness of things is good. But it is, for the most part, saying, hey, this is undervalued. Hey, this is undervalued. Hey, like, you'll make money if you buy this versus, hey, here is the things that are being built. Are you interested in any of this? Like, guys, I watch esports all the time. I'm like the demographic for Web3 games. I'm not playing like half of them right now. Like, sure, I've kind of dabbled in them, but I've never had like the sense of like, oh yeah, I want to go back and play most of them, right? Some of them are like, okay, for like a quick kind of casual log and you play here and there, but most of these things are still just for the rewards. Is blockchain gaming going to be solely based on, hey, if you can make money while gaming, or is it going to be about fun? And I get that this is a topic we have every freaking day, but it's still out there. And there might be a game out there that I'm like, but I mean, I haven't seen it. So is it the fault of the people marketing? Is it mine that I'm not doing my research? I don't know. I feel like the narratives around all this stuff is just kind of wonky, hunky-dory here. All right, Tasty Toasties here. Shout out to my man, Danny Case, who sent me this one. Toasty is going to be rolled out across all Toys R Us outlets in Singapore, whether you have our NFT or not. If this comes across your feed, I hope you can give this post a like, retweet, or even a DM. So, Danny, big fan of Tasty Toasties. This is cool where it was a smaller project that is doing kind of bigger things. Again, I think their NFT collection hasn't really gone anywhere in terms of like big price action or anything, but they do have these toys that are going out, and it does, does it remind you of like the Pudgy Penguins in a way? A little bit different out there, but again, Tasty Toasties here, it's like 6,000 followers, something kind of small, but going for something, and we're seeing, again, narrative. Nobody's really talking about this, but it's out there and they're doing things. Okay, so this is just kind of an extra thought for you if we can. It didn't even get a month in theaters, says Keezy. What are they talking about? The Fall Guy releases on digital platforms in 2 days. The film grossed $127 million so far on a $140 million budget. Question for you. How many times you go to the theater? In the past, I don't know, let's say a year. For myself, none. Go 2 years? None. 3 years? None. 4 years? None. Yo, Danny Cates, what's going on, brother? I don't think that I've gone to the theaters in a hot minute. Now, what does that say? Well, things are preferred at home. The perfect time for the metaverse. And obviously, for anybody that's been following Featureverse, they've talked about, hey, what if there's movies and you can like experience what the scenes are, or the virtual worlds as they're happening. I think that aspect is going to definitely come true because, for these theaters, it's kind of cool going out. But again, I just listen, sit at home, have some popcorn, hang out on your couch. I absolutely love it. And it might be cheaper than trying to get in all these theaters, and they could probably also charge more from digital collectibles and whatnot. Anywho, okay, so what in the halibut is this? Multiverse. Ready your pies, grab a sandwich, and sharpen your skills because it's almost time to jump back into the mayhem. Welcome back, Multiverse MVPs. And Bosch coming on through. Holy smoke-a-roonies.
What a candle. What a green candle.
What a candle. What a green candle. What are we talking about? Are we Oh my, we're neutral on the fear and greed index, but Bitcoin is mooning. Oh my goodness. So today we started at about 66K. We are now approaching 70 momentarily, up almost 6% on the day. Holy guaca freaking moly. Let's go. Love to see it. Thank you so much for the 9 months. You are a legend. So going back to this for a second, what the hell is Multiverse? I don't know. I saw this on my timeline shared by Matt Hunter, who I'm pretty sure is involved with Futureverse. He's got a whole bunch of different tags in his name, but he quote tweeted this earlier. It's by Warner's brother. It has every IP you can imaginable within this, and it's a free to play game. So when we're talking about onboarding and people aren't even going to know that they're doing blockchain games, is this kind of one of the first looks at what this is? Because if so, holy sweet sugar shit. Now, the other funny part about this, to kind of go back into what I just said about the movie theaters and whatnot, if you scroll the comments on all of these, 50+% of them are saying this should be a movie. Okay, well, listen, I happen to know people that potentially might be involved within that, right? With creating these experiences, everything else is content about to change. Trader Pops, wag me, brother. You know what I mean? So that's pretty exciting. If you haven't seen that, definitely check that out. Okay, back to a little bit of FUD, because I know that's why you guys are here. Most blockchains have a marketing problem. They're not industry specific. Instead, they target a huge variety of industries. They're not regional, they're global. They underfund marketing because they believe product will win it all. So you have a small marketing team trying to market to DeFi devs, financial institutions, enterprises, game devs, artists, lawyers, speculators, VCs, not just in one country, but across the entire world. This results in very thin penetration for most industries and little success in generating demand from anyone. Interesting thought here. I feel like I kind of agree with this. And again, like my viewpoint, as I keep saying, I keep bringing up Futureverse, and that's only just because, like, I know what it is, right? If you ask me for some of these other collections, I can try to make reference to, but I hate faking of what I'm talking about. But, I mean, one of the biggest issues with Futureverse was people saying for the longest time, and I mean, it's still kind of there, is like, oh, what are we doing for the marketing? Who are we trying to attract to? You're saying, oh, we're not going for the Web3 games, but then we have like some Web3 game launches, and then we're hearing these other things and seeing like the AI League where it's going out and it's for like the Web2 crowd, right? And it's kind of all over the place with kind of like what the products are, but then like for the marketing fit, like it's like, okay, we have some really cool videos, but then there's all these things happening. And it does feel like when you look at the grand scale of things, people are trying to do everything. Like when you look into any kind of new project, it's not, hey, we're just building a game. It's, hey, we're about to take over the freaking world, baby, right? Like it is nuts what's going on out there. But at the same time, I think there's a recognition that there's a huge opportunity to do such a thing. And as we're seeing with X, who, you know, is trying to become like the everything app, if there's these blockchains that are able to kind of garner that crowd, get a huge foothold on certain sectors, or, you know, legitimately just try to do everything, that might happen. But I do kind of think that we are going to see kind of like a multi-chain feature, but still the race is yet to be won by many. Well, that was quick. A step in the right direction, says BX1. Looks like Binance quickly listened and now wants to start listing projects with lower valuations. Huh? Finally kicking off alt season and bringing back liquidity to the market. No more VC dump fest, no more useless garbage in the billions, more quality projects and respectable market caps. So this was from like a tweet, I guess like a day ago, where he highlighted how some of the Binance launch pads have gone horrifically, where, oh my God, a coin's launched on Binance. Boom, we're moving, right? And then it just absolutely goes straight to zero right after. Depicted in the two photos on the screen here. But it's interesting that they're kind of changing things up, and they're saying, fellow Binanceans, Binance is committed to fostering a healthy and sustainable market environment and always prioritizing our users' interests. In recent months, we have observed a trend of tokens launching at high valuations with low initial circulating supplies. We addressed this trend and highlighted the implications in a report titled Low, Float, and High FDV. How did we get here? To foster a healthy industry with a variety of market participants, including projects with lower to medium valuations, Binance is taking the lead to engage small to medium projects. We would like to invite such high-quality teams and projects to apply for our listing programs, including direct listings, launch pools, mega drops, and more. We hope to enhance the development of the blockchain ecosystem through our support to small and medium-sized projects with strong fundamentals, an organic community base, a sustainable business model, and a dedicated team acting as responsible industry participants. What a bunch of buzzwords from Binance. How many people you think applying has an organic community? If you know, you know. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, the one takeaway that I do like totally agree with this from like BX1 is Is this going to kick off altcoin season? And I mean, for all the collections that are out there, how many of them are kind of pushing like, hey, if we get a Binance or Coinbase listing, woo! Almost all of them. And if the doors are open for that, I think that there is a large amount of people that have no idea what happens behind the scenes, right? Like, I made a video like a year ago that was about like how to get listed on Binance, and it was like some article that was like have these things. There was like no info about it, and you're just like, okay, so that's how it works. Is people are talking about their shady thing going on Binance. You can just give them a bit of money, give them a huge token supply. What the hell a bit is going on, right? Like we don't know, and so seeing this again maybe gives people a little bit more confidence here. Yo, Ash Robin adding some fuel to the FUD fire today. I just went through and unfollowed 500 people on here. A few things I noticed. 99% of the projects I followed just 1 year ago are dead and haven't posted. People I followed had DM'd me saying they were building something revolutionary, haven't posted in a year. Tons of people gave up and left the space. I recommend taking some time to clean up your feed so you're not seeing trash. You've learned and grown since you've been here for so long. Don't let old accounts take up any mind share from you. Now, just kind of as like a broad sentiment here, it is crazy the amount of things that when we're in like the 23, 24 realm, to launch an NFT, you have to be kind of respectfully, you have to be kind of crazy when you're out here because, again, people are going to be all over that. I feel like, and I could be wrong here, but people are way more vicious within this space because they have way more monetary incentive or lack of a better term, investment regarding certain things. It's just, I feel like we're at a point where anything that comes out should be considered legitimate. But if it's not, you're like, okay, like how the hell couldn't you have noticed this before it launched? Because people are way more suspicious, way more. Yo, Momenta, what's going on? How in the heck are you, sir? Listen, we got a pot of stew and a little bit of soup on the side. You know what I mean? Some of it's turned rotten where we're getting the FUD, but we're still getting to the good stuff. You know what I mean? Okay, so speaking of more of this FUD, I heard of a Web3 team that launched an NFT and has a token generating event coming up. They made some big promises and claimed that they had a fully stacked team to deliver, but behind the scenes, I learned that most of their key employees had already left the company. I think the argument that people have within the space is like invest in people, not companies. It's wild to see the people that are leaving things that from those that you had, like, I respect that opinion of. You know what I mean? Yo, RDL, what's going on? Because anytime that happens, everybody's like freaking out because it's a person that they admire. Whenever you see, like, let's use the Punk 95, I forget it, the guy that uses the pink hat, right? He was with Moonbirds and then Moonbirds shut down, but I think he gave stats that everybody absolutely loved, right? And so Moonbirds kind of went with Yuga, and the CryptoPunk guy who's doing all the stats is now with oh my lord, I'm gonna forget who it was. The potato Meme Land. He's with Meme Land now, right? And so people are like, oh, okay, so I love that guy. Now do I follow that project, or do I just think, damn, that previous one they were with is not great because they're no longer there, right? So that kind of thing, like that kind of sucks because, again, people do really like the individuals. Now, investors have invested millions in this project over the past couple of years and are looking for an exit. So my guess is their token generating event will be that last liquidity squeeze from retail before leaving the space completely. This behavior is more common than we realize. What do you guys think of this? I mean, what are we doing, baby? It's kind of nuts. Like, to be honest, we still have these things that are happening. I think there's environments that are trying to be made where people feel confident in things. You know what I mean? Where it's not just like, oh, should we be specific? Can we trust what's going on through here? I feel like, for example, like the Binance Launchpad we've brought up a moment ago, I don't think people get into anything or are able to get listed in that kind of way without getting like highly, highly vetted. So there is like ways that we can be like, positive about things, but damn it. Okay, listen, I'm going to try to be as positive as possible within this because this got juicy today if you haven't seen. So Yuga Labs is doing something with CryptoPunks, and they're creating the super punk world. We mentioned this on Friday, and it is a new 500-piece collection from Nina Chanel. And if you haven't seen, these are what they look like. Now, give you a moment to kind of get your thoughts if you haven't seen this yet. Some people have said this is Flat Stanley. but I have about 30 tweets I'm about to show you of people freaking out on the timeline. Needs to be mothballed ASAP. People are not happy about this for the most part. Okay, so Shamdu here. Shamdu's tweeting a lot of like odd stuff, and it sounds like he sold his account. Not gonna lie, love Shamdu, but like, I mean, some of the stuff's weird. Anywho, this is we'll add everybody's perspective because we're looking from every angle. People are going to start selling their CryptoPunk, and here is why. Yuga bought them for $100 million, eventually expecting a return by taking advantage of their brand to sell BS products like this, and things like this will continue to come out from the CryptoPunk Twitter until they are satisfied with their investment. Although this is utility, something CryptoPunk holders have never been provided, this ruins the brand image of CryptoPunks, which is, I'd say, subjective, but we'll see. The reason why CryptoPunks was bought for $100 million, even though the collection wasn't making anything off royalties, was because of the power they have to advertise shit products like this to make money. Dude. 10 years from now, people will show up to the museum to go look at CryptoPunks, know of their past, and how they ripped off their holders and supporters by selling junk. Now, the funny part about this is I don't know if this is a copy pasta or if this is like his actual take. And we're going to have, again, both sides of the story here. So Franelation's feeling kind of positive. The avatars are cool. The artist is amazing. And punks are iconic. These will age well if the Web3 community doesn't scare creatives away from the space. Let them cook and allows creations like this allows creations like this one to bring new Web2 buyers into the hobby. My 2 cents. I guess the question would be like, are Web 2 buyers going to jump into this? Because if it is, again, like, so everything we're talking about here, which is kind of ridiculous in a way, but all this goes out the window if these things come out and they're going for like 100 ETH, right? Oh, okay, well, they're worth something. And they probably will be because they're like 500 ETH. Mike Dudas saying, might actually sell my punk. What TF is this? Pranksy, imagine owning 200 of Nina's previous fantastic collection and getting literally nothing from this release, not even a preference in bidding. Burned. Again, why the hell would you go into Web3? People are like, hey, we bought a previous product. We can't get something else from something else you done. It's just a FUD storm over and over again. Eric.eth saying, this is probably where I should sell all my punks. Another one from Tyler D. Clearly, punks are doing okay. The floor is $117,000. But who is the incremental buyer here? The 2024 cohort doesn't seem interested. The old guard already has theirs. Who is coming? And Peaceland Bread saying, I just did like a month ago based off base memes. So there are people out there that are making a little bit of bread right now. Not bad, not bad. Yuga Labs, 2 years after raising $450 million to build a metaverse. Okay, respectfully, kind of a funny tweet. Going through here, a lot of people fudding this. Frankly, I think it's incredible utility. Imagine how good these characters will be at hiding in a manhunt games in other side. Good luck finding me when I turn sideways. True. In response to the horrible Yuga Labs cash grab with CryptoPunks NFTs, I am changing my PFPs. I am not repping my Bored Ape until they fix this. We're switching to Pudgy Penguins, who deserves their support and hasn't ruined it yet. Again, this is just kind of a mental note. We're seeing people completely switch face depending on what collections do. So damned if you do, damned if you don't. Maybe. Bye-bye, baby. We had a nice run. Choose Rich Nick here. Selling his CryptoPunk again. Massive amounts of movement on the timeline. I saw somebody post about how there was like 1 or 2% of the supply that are in loans that are underwater that are coming up within the next few weeks or days. Like, holy smokes. And this Thread Guy did a podcast here with Garga, and they talked about the acquisition of CryptoPunks. I don't think this is live yet, but he posted it because I guess it's relevant to the timeline. So here's what Garga had to say. I don't love the answer, if I'm going to be honest with you. Let me know your thoughts.
How do you guys think about the acquisition of punks?
I think maintaining the legacy of punks and just like preserving it. For example, we would never have acquired it if we weren't going to like decentralize the IP rights.
Of course.
We just wanted to find a way to like preserve that brand and like, and honor it in a way. Treat this almost the way that like, what would the Andy Warhol Foundation do with Andy Warhols these days?
Yeah.
That's kind of how we think about punks in a lot of ways.
How do you guys think about the acquisition of punks?
I think maintaining the legacy of punks.
So maintaining the legacy, right? That's kind of the key word that I wanted to highlight within this. And Cyrus is the one that posted that punk under. Yeah, you got her. Guy tweets a lot, but always good stuff too. And I guess like the question with this, and it goes into like one of the tweets here, is saying, I actually really like the art of Nina Chanel, but the fact that I'm generally seeing negative reaction from punk holders on my timeline just shows how out of touch Yuga is with what punk holders want from from the brand, which essentially is a role of steward and not much else. And it's a perfect way of describing it. And I kind of like agree, right? Where, you can do something, you can think, hey, that we're going to impact something positively. And again, this is the initial reaction when we see the price points. Maybe there's a whole bunch of people that love these. They change them as their profile photos. People that are admired within the space. The narrative can change in a blink, as we know. But it is weird that like the reaction that we went over, and I tried to, kind of cover all different sides here with this, has been like pretty negative for it. Facts saying these are more rare than CryptoPunks and are designed by an actual artist. My preliminary estimate is this sub collection floor is at least 100 ETH, which is kind of wild. And then Awkward here is saying, I'm personally not a fan of Nina Chanel's style, but what I'm not going to do is take my personal preference and confuse it with objective truth and proceed to shit on her work. Artists are seen how you treat artists. And this is a fascinating thought. I mean, listen, how many times do we think of the other person when we just make some kind of wild claims or spew our hate on something, right? And I don't know, like, is this an attack on Nina? Or is it an attack on, this was an artist that was chosen to do something for a collective that didn't want it, and they're just kind of, it's like, don't kill the messenger type deal. Like, I mean, what do I know? I'm no friggin' art expert. But I agree at the point that the backlash from this can be seen in a very bad way. And as we've seen, typical headlines across the Web3 space, they don't usually get a lot of love. And I don't think that what has happened within this necessarily helps the cause either. But that's it for this edition of XFeed. Tomorrow, we got the Futureverse Founders on. That's going to be in about 2.5 hours from the time right now. If you are not knowing what 7 p.m. EST is, sounds like we might be having a little bit of a giveaway as well. I want to go into all the details, but yous that have a Twitch account, you might need one to get into it. Should be pretty good. But again, that's it for this edition. If you guys are enjoying the stream, I'd love you to give it a like, maybe a share it with a friend. It'd be absolutely phenomenal.